Hey everyone, it's Ivan, KeepAgile.com, out here today to give you a little kind of rundown, update on both how this new ski setup has been working for me, as well as my progress diving into this new sport. Since I'm not really sure exactly where to start, we'll go ahead and just kind of recap 30,000 foot view, like what led me to all of this stuff. Well, my buddy, Bill Rapier of Amtac Shooting, lives close to me and is always down for going on adventures. And we've gone on quite a few. One of the things though is like, you need to learn to ski so we can go cool places, but you need to learn to ski. And I'm like, all right, I'll do this. And on top of that, I wanted basically mobility. The idea of being able to get around in the backcountry during winter months when there's snow everywhere. And snowshoeing sucks. It really does. And it's one of those things where someone can come up from wherever, like Mississippi, and you put them on snowshoes and like a day later, like all things being equal, like, okay, cool. Like they're just as good as trudging through the snow as you are. Conversely, you end up putting in time with skis and it's an exponential increase with respect to mobility in the winter. And it also is something that you need to put in time with. Your buddy from Mississippi isn't going to spend 2 days on skis and then keep up with you in the backcountry. So, got to put in time. That led me to basically getting this whole setup. And since I'm holding this helmet, we'll go ahead and start with this. I ended up picking this up in part, this visor. It's connected, it'll go up. I say visor, goggles basically. And I'm actually liking it. On the one hand, usually when you're out skiing, it's usually kind of cold because of winter activities. And to that end, definitely helps like keeping your head warm. And then back here, there's a dial, kind of like on the back of like ops core helmets and stuff like that, which is pretty handy. You can kind of adjust it. And yeah, super cozy inside. And then right here, we have this vent. So you can bring it back, it'll open all these air vents, or you can close it up. Like say if you're riding up a chairlift, because it gets cold, especially if it's a long one. Close that up, keep yourself nice and warm. And yes, I did throw some decals on it because I had them and I like them. But this thing has definitely done good for me. I haven't taken any falls. Well, I've definitely taken any falls. I haven't bounced my head off anything. And with respect to helmets and stuff like that, I know some people are cavalier. They're just like, I don't need that. Okay, like I probably do. I'm gonna wear a helmet. And keep in mind, your face is basically a bumper for your brain. Like everything can kind of collapse in, but impacts to the side, not good. And that's especially where helmets will come in. As far as these poles, they're poles, I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. I guess one thing I do know is that I need to change these out and get other baskets, because when you're in the backcountry, like cross country skiing, these baskets are too small down here, like end up punching through, especially if it's soft snow. I have two different sets, these and then Salomon, both same company, Armada and Salomon, like parent companies. These are 125 and the other I believe are 130. Haven't really figured out which ones I like best. One thing I will note or have noticed, and I do need to address, is these will sometimes kind of come out, this webbing, and I should probably just get it to where I think I want it for now and go ahead and tape it up so that they don't come out. But what can I say? They're poles, they work. Which brings us to basically skis, boots, bindings, skins, everything else, because it's all more or less interrelated. These are my first ever set of skis, so what is my metric? Like, I don't know, they work, I like them, they look cool. No, they do, they work, and they seem to work well. They are their Explorer 95s, basically made for AT, like Alpine Touring, and I'm assuming there's a bunch of design elements with respect to that makes them better than some of the other like downhill skis and stuff like that. But in my experience, having used them basically kind of cross-country application as well as downhill, no, they work. Like, I like them. I'm sure as I get more time on them and then maybe dip into trying some other skis, I will probably have a more refined sense of what I do and don't like about them, but no, I'm enjoying them. These skins, they're awesome. I like the fact that they don't have to be cut. Granted, you can get some skins that you need to cut. These are actually for the Explorer 85s, I guess it is. So they're a tiny bit narrow, which I like because then I can be a little bit sloppy putting them on and it's still not going to come over and cover my edge and screw me up, which is a good thing. And no, they make it really easy to basically attach back here and then go ahead and peel off. So pretty handy. As far as the bindings, these are the shift bindings. Give you a quick run through in a second, basically how they work, but they're pretty cool. They basically make it to where you go from downhill to backcountry, like cross country, and back to downhill. Really easy. Same with the boots. So give you a little rundown of both those right now. Before we dive into the binding, talk about these boots real quick. They're basically AT, Alpine Touring boots. With that, you have the strap up here. It's loose. Same with both of these. This top one as well as this one, set pretty loose. Don't need it tight for basically cruising cross country right now. And then they have a boot liner, which makes it really easy to pull this out, let the shell as well as the liner dry, throw it back in there. Also, back here, there's this piece. So you can unlock it and gives you the ability to articulate your ankle. But if you're gonna go downhill, move it forward, that locks in place. Now you have a nice rigid boot for downhill. So how does this interface? Well, right here, there's essentially metal inserts in the front of the boot here. So if we're gonna end up going cross country, we can lock it in right here. This piece right here is gonna move to walk. This piece right here is gonna also move up to walk. And to press this, step in, line up those metal inserts, pull it up 2 times, it locks in, press that down. Now the brake is off and now boot's locked in and doesn't slide very well backwards because I have skins on. But now the boot's locked in and the brakes are up. So I can cross country ski. Only the toe of the boot is basically locked in there, letting my heel rise. When I want to get out, go ahead, press this guy down, press it again, comes out. So when I want to go ski, this moves up from walk to ski. This right here. Goes to ski, and now I basically lock my boot in, step back in, lock that all the way down, and now I'm in downhill mode. Not good with skins on. And to get myself out of here, go ahead and press that down. Brakes go down and my boot can release. Pretty sweet. Also, quick note on, these boots, not super comfortable. Granted, I have wide feet, so I took them to a local shop, I believe it's called the Ski Shack. Super cool guys in there, and they're like, oh yeah, like we can help you with that. So took the inserts out, threw them in the oven for a little bit, pulled them out, put them on, warm until they cooled. And then once we did that, put the shells in the oven, pulled them out, threw them on with the inserts, and then wrapped them in some ice packs until they cooled. And pretty much night and day difference getting them fit. And one of the things that, unbeknownst to me, but apparently the Salomon shells actually do really well with respect to basically being able to take that treatment and kind of get molded your foot. So that was a good thing because they were uncomfortable. Which brings us to how they use this setup so far. My initial foray with this setup was a very short kind of cross-country run in which I realized the boots were too tight. After that, I went, got them fitted, and then came out and yeah, another little, I don't know, cross-country. Nothing crazy steep, either down or up. I don't know, probably a good, I think 5 miles all said and done. And I was like, cool, like this is good to go. But still hadn't dipped into the other side of it, the downhill, right? Mind you, I've never downhill skied. So of course, my buddy, Bill Rapier, is like, yeah, I got some time, like, let's go. And it's like, all right. So we ended up driving up to Lookout Pass, in part because you immediately get access to snow, just based on elevation, probably has some of the most snow around here, and you pretty much like drive right up to it. It's in Lookout Pass. I think, I don't know, 50 or 5,000 something feet, something like that. And we ended up going up there, and it is a ski resort, so there's lifts and everything. Did not have lift tickets. So of course we threw our skins on and started skinning up to the top of the mountain. Nice. At your house or church? Once we got to the top of the mountain, again, this being my first time on skis, so he fortunately thought better of like cutting some track through trees or something like that. And he's like, all right, well, let's go down and yeah, work on some stuff, work on your snow plow and this and that. He's like, so you need to do this, sneeze in, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. And so of course, Bill Rapier being Bill Rapier, we immediately went off on one of the blue runs and started going down. And immediately I'm like, oh man, I don't see this going well. It was a lot steeper than I probably would have liked, but stuck with it and started going. And he's like, okay. And meanwhile, my snowplow is not working. Like, it's not working. And I feel like once you're steep enough, like the snowplow doesn't work, which immediately forced me into trying to figure out how to basically turn so that I could come to a stop, like on the side of the hill. And that first run, it was pretty interesting. Fortunately, I was able to capture most of it thanks to Bill Rapier filming, and here's that first run.
Kip Badger actual, working some turns. Lean forward more. Stop sitting down in the chair. Here, come through right here by these trees. You get a nice little powder shot. Nice, ski past me now. But I didn't hit the tree. That's step number one, do not hit the tree. All right, give me a turn. Lean forward. There you go, another turn. Link it together. Oh, weight going backwards. Oh, it's gonna be back? Yeah. I just watch your tips go way high, and it looks like you're sitting in a chair. Okay, now try not to look like you're giving birth. Ease over your toes.
Once we got down, since I wasn't dead yet, we went ahead, threw skins back on, went back up that mountain. And this time we actually ended up coming down one of the green runs, giving me an opportunity to, rather than just like survival mode, actually try and kind of figure out some of the stuff Bill Rapier had told me with respect to turning and stopping and things like that. So ended up cruising down that run. After that little crash course, I was like, okay, I need to learn to ski, and I don't want to have to basically skin up the mountain every time. Like, it'll take me forever to get reps. And like skinning up a mountain, there's some value there, but I just need to get up the mountain and come down over and over and over and just get more reps. So to that end, nearby, Lookout Pass, where Bill and I had gone that first time, they actually have something for new skiers where it's a 1-2-3 program where you have 1, 2, 3 lessons with rental equipment. And after those 3 lessons, you get a discounted season pass. And I'm like, okay, this seems pretty cool, especially because my boys actually already had a season pass there with their mom. So I'm like, all right, no brainer, let's do this. Now granted, that 1-2-3, you can only do it once just for people new to skiing. So I ended up going. My first lesson, I guess it was day or two after, day after or day or two after Christmas, and I went with my boys, which was fun because we were pretty much all on the bunny hill. But I ended up getting that first lesson then and there.
Dad. You ready?
We'll find out. Uh-oh. Good job, Ira. Good job, me. Toes, Jada, toes.
Okay, Dad. You ready?
I'm ready. Nice. Fast forward about a week, we had gone on a trip, came back, it was now the new year, and I went for my second lesson. Different instructor this time, building on kind of what I had learned up to that point. Again, still right there on the bunny hill. Day 2.
He's doing well. That's it, that's it. And then right foot, right foot, right foot. Whoop. And now left foot, left foot, left foot.
One, two, three.
And then from here, Ivan, just let him run. Coming into the flat. Hey, that's a good smile.
Then it was finally time for my third and final lesson. So we ended up cruising over there, and I actually brought my oldest because he had just turned 11. And so I was going to go ahead and do my thing as far as my last lesson. And then after that, I would be able to go wherever. So we were able to make a day of it. But there I was, finishing out that last third and final lesson.
A little bit too far back right there. Did you feel it?
Yeah, and then when I hit basically some like powder, I didn't have the athletic stance we were talking about earlier.
Right.
Came into play.
Which is big.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
Then, having finished my lesson, it was time to go for a run with my son, him on his snowboard, and yeah, it was a lot of fun being able to share that experience with him.
Going?
Good, I did my first black diamond.
First black diamond.
And I'm so wet and cold and my fingers are freezing.
So this
You
will be
dragged me into another run.
so this will be the last run. My first run
With
now that I haven't had lessons and with this guy.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Oh.
Pretty stoked.
You're welcome for going on this.
Crashed. After that first lesson, which was my first time other than those two runs with Bill Rapier, having skinned up the mountain, that was my first time up on the mountain, first time off that bunny hill. My son and I, we did that one run, and he had been doing some other runs. He actually did a black diamond, went into the ditch of doom, as he named it, while I was off getting my lesson. But kids, they're only game for doing so much. So we got that one good run in together, which was a ton of fun, but I obviously wanted to get some more reps in. So I ended up heading back I don't know, maybe 2 days later, and went up there, got my season pass, got there relatively early and started to grind it out, getting rep after rep. All said and done, spent pretty much the entire day up there, I think about 5 hours or something like that, and logged about 17 runs. Let's do this. Holds one hand. During that time, pretty much skied exclusively on blue runs. I think I ended up going down 2 greens, and at one point I went down half of a black diamond because it's like black diamond something or other and blue something or other. I'm like, okay, well, I choose the blue. But then once you go over the edge, like, surprise, it's just the black diamond. Like, I guess it's access to the blue somewhere further down. So went about halfway down that, got off of that, and ended up hitting another blue run after that. But all said and done, like I said, about 17 runs that day. And I stopped once to go drink some water and just ground it out. It was a lot of fun. During that entire day, I managed to not fall once, which was kind of amazing. And on the one hand, you're like, probably should have pushed yourself harder. Yes and no. Like, I liken it to like go work like power cleans. Like, I would just as soon keep it light and work it until I actually have the movement correctly, rather than be like, oh, like, let me do this for time, throw a bunch of weight on there and have shit form. Like, nah. So to that end, going down all those blue runs gave me the opportunity for it to be steep enough to where I had the speed and I had the necessity to turn and do all these different things. But it gave me the opportunity to, just figure out, work on my turns, working out stopping and things like that. So it was a really great day out there. Having said all that, where does it bring us to now? Well, I need to get some more reps in because I'm not comfortable taking these up Strawberry Mountain. Actually going up probably won't be bad. Coming down through all the trees, not comfortable with that yet. So definitely gonna log some more hours and a lot more runs. I really like this setup. Granted, there's no free lunch with anything. So with respect to like cross-country skiing, yeah, you could get way lighter, better skis for that. Downhill skiing, I'm sure you could get, again, better setup for that. But I love the flexibility that the setup offers in that I have one set that I can do all those things that I want to do. And again, this isn't me wanting to, I don't know, like go ski the park and do flips and all that stuff. Like, this is mobility for me with the ability to pretty much do everything on that spectrum. And these allow that, which I think is pretty cool. So I now have, including that day with Bill Rapier, skinning up and skiing down, I guess about 5 days of downhill under my belt so far. So gonna work on getting a lot more runs and improving as a skier and see where this season takes me. But if you appreciate my content and want to support it, greatly appreciate it. Number of different ways, whether it's liking and sharing videos, or if you want, support me directly over on Patreon. You can also get on the Discord over there. If you have questions, happy to answer them. Probably not going to be in the comments section of YouTube, but if you have questions over there in Discord, definitely answer them. But as always, thanks for joining us at kitbadger.com. Look forward to seeing you next time.
You're good, Dad.
Don't drop them. Don't drop my bolts.
Drop.
Ah! Yes.
I want to print the Razor Crest.
I want to 3D print the Razor Crest 2 on our new 3D printer.
Ender 3 V2.
Pretty awesome. Santa brought it.